How's it going, guys? My name is Nigel, and in the last episode of this glorious tutorial, I covered the basics, setting up, and in this episode we shall discuss triggers and models. Now, in order to make a trigger, you will choose the block tool and click Browse for the this little texture box on the right-hand side. You'll click Browse and it'll bring up this window. Personally, I choose to maximize it so I can see all the textures available to me. And for this, for a trigger, you will just type in trigger. And make sure it's tools/tools trigger. This will serve a pretty useful purpose in many situations. And you will just make the block as you would every other block. You could change the position of the block using clicking the blueprint, if you will, by doing just clicking and dragging, and you can change the size of the blueprint by clicking and dragging on these little nodes. Now you have three views available to you other than the camera, the almost game view. You have top, the side, and the front. The side and the front come into play a lot less often than the top. The top is probably where you're going to be working with the most. So perhaps if you have an odd screen, you may want to put a little more focus on that. Or maybe not. Doesn't matter. Nothing matters. Either way, you would press Enter to create this block. And as you can see, it's a translucent texture that has the words trigger on it. You'd think it's something out of Tumblr, man. Everything's a trigger. It's scary shit. So in order to make it, because right now it's just a wall, a translucent wall. In order to make it something actually useful, you have to hold Control and press T at the same time while having this block selected. So Control T, and it'll bring up this window. For the class, you change it from func detail to func underscore trigger. Oh wait, no, sorry, my apologies. Trigger underscore, and then there are many kinds of triggers available to you. For this, I think this time I'm going to do a trigger hurt. Now this, as you could guess from the name, hurts whoever goes inside it. Most of these you don't really need to change the type. You can change the type with this. I think I'm going to do a freeze. Now, it gives you pretty helpful details right here in the help section, although some don't have any. You can change the name and the global entity name and all that. So let's just call this, I don't know, Ronald. Why not, dude? So you got Ronald here. The origin, that will come and play later. Start disabled, no, unless you want it to be activated by a button or another trigger, should you wish. You change that to yes, but otherwise just leave it at no, and it'll be on all the time. You can change the damage here. I believe, yeah, every half second. So I think I'm gonna make it 50. Why not? So you stand there for a second, you're dead. So when I said give me a second, I was serious. Now, to the other part of this tutorial, models. Now, you will click on this entity tool, which is kind of looks like a little peg, perhaps a game piece from Sorry or something like that. And what you do is, by default, it has a terrorist or counter-terrorist start, depending on which game you're making this for. Just leave it at that, doesn't matter right now. Click anywhere on the, make sure it's on the camera, not on the grid, because if you put it on the grid, it'll just give you an alignment thing. So you click on the camera view, and you click there, which makes the default thing, which in this case is terrorist. Now, you would go to the selector tool, this little cursor, this mouse cursor, and you double click on it. it'll bring up the same window that you got when you press Control T. Now you're going to want to change this to info model. No. Oh boy, I'm a little rusty. My apologies. Prop. Sorry, my apologies. Prop. You're going to want to change this to prop. Now there are several different types of props that are used for different things. Now, I think for this we would like a dynamic one, but I'm not positive. So you choose that. You could name it, all that stuff, world model. This is what we want to worry about right now. Now, depending on what game... Oh my. What the hell? Ah, there we go. So you'll see this window, and depending on what game you're mapping for, it'll show up some different files. But basically, it's all the same. So right here, you can filter it and search for things you want. So in this case, we're going to want a fountain. So we have a wide variety of fountains. I think I'm going to go with this one from Half-Life 2. Now, some models have skins, like different appearances. Like, for example, the bins from Half-Life 2, the plastic bins. They come in a yellow, red, and blue variety, I believe, if my memory serves me correctly. And you could change this with this number here. But since this fountain only has the one skin, I will leave it at 0. Damage filter. Well, this is kind of a weird thing, so currently I'm not going to mess with it. Honestly, I think the best way to learn how to change the specifics is to just kind of experiment yourself, because it's pretty self-explanatory. It explains itself quite well for most of them, of course. So hit apply, exit out of that, and you'll see this great little this nice model. And it appears to be almost on the ground, so I'm just going to this button here makes the grid larger, which makes it less fine, more coarse, if you will, and this -1 will make it finer. So currently I'm making it very, very fine. Now, if you could use the scroll wheel to scroll in and zoom in on this, and I just moved that down about half of a unit. So now it is touching the ground, and it looks proper. Then all I have to do is position this where I want it. And here we have the model and the trigger hurt. In the next episode, I shall discuss the very elusive player and skybox. My name is Nigel. Peace out.